Well, hello there, my Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. How are you? Welcome to your twin flame reading for October-ish 2019, because it's going to blend into, November, possibly December, because these are relationships we're talking about, right? Relationship reads, each in their own timing, right? If you are new to my channel, welcome. I am your reader, Mark Angela Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional reader. This is what I'm doing for a living, and this is my my last reading in not in this series. I still have Pisces to do next, but I'm going to Saratoga to visit my parents. I need to get off Long Island. You understand, Aquarians. It's always nice to go away so you see things in perspective. And also to my subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing. My numbers are climbing bit by bit. Really excited to hit 1,000 so I can do super live chat, whatever the hell that is. I've watched a few. They seem really cool. I want to do those on the regular. And for those of you unfamiliar with my work, my definition of twin flame is probably a little bit different, if not a lot of bit different from what you hear, not just in the general conversation on it, but on YouTube in particular. Twin flames and soulmates are not the same thing. They're both soul contracts, though, and two very different kinds of soul contracts, pre-incarnational agreements that you make with other souls, things that are written into the script of the character of the life, who you are in this world, who you are in this life this time around. So there are some links down in the description box you might want to look at. I actually make sure every time I put out new stuff, I go over my description box. I am a Virgo, to make sure it is all accurate, and there's additional support there if needed. 2 videos are by me, and one is from a brilliant spiritual teacher by the name of Matt KAHN, KAHN. He does a video called Soul Contracts, Twin Flames and Soulmates Redefined. That was a huge breakthrough for me last year. Totally snapped things into perspective. So essentially, a twin flame relationship is a turbulent, transformative, triggery relationship contract that it's there to teach you how to love yourself, how to care for yourself, how to set boundaries, self-esteem, right? All of that self stuff, because by contract, the twin cannot give you what you want, but they are serving you up what you need in terms of your soul's evolution. Unlike a soulmate contract, which is satisfying, where you help each other heal and you can give each other the things that you want. Not that there aren't bumps in the road. It's not, flowers and lollipops and moonbeams everywhere 24/7. But those wrinkles, those bumps in the road tend to work themselves out naturally. So get that this is a twin flame read. Also that all twin flame and soulmate contracts are not strictly romantic sexual. In fact, any relationship patterning can have a soulmate or twin flame contract within it. So that being said, and please have at it, go look at the videos. They're in there. That's why I put them in there. So let's get down to business. I think that's all the business covered. Oh, except that we're going to start with 3 Caroline Myss archetype cards. All of the cards I use, the decks that I use, are in the description box at the bottom, should you want a closer look. So we're going to be dealing with divine masculine and feminine. We are not talking about bodily gender at all. We are talking about energetic dynamic. You could say divine yin as divine feminine, divine yang as divine masculine. It's a bit more Eastern. I like that wording a bit more, but most y'all, we're here in the West, right, for the most part. So that's the terminology that we are using colloquially, hard enough to say, and particularly on YouTube, so we're sticking with it. Cool. So first thing we're going to do is going to get a card for the divine feminine, then one for the divine masculine, and then a third in the center, what we're calling the center lane here, as a general dominant energy for the relationship itself, the twin flame contract. So let's do this. My pantheons. The blessing of the decks was lovely, very, very sweet, giggled a little bit. So please, 1 card in clarity for the divine feminine in this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame relationship for October 2019. What is her? I'm just going to use the female pronoun for divine feminine, even if you're in a masculine body, even if you're a guy. What is the divine archetype here? The soul power to be developed for the divine feminine, the seeker. All right, and I will read the definitions on there once all three cards are quote. For the divine masculine, then, please, my pantheon, same thing, one card in clarity for the divine masculine in this Aquarian collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond, October-ish. What is his dominant archetype, the soul power to be alchemized from lead to gold? We've got the Damsel. There's a switch up. Now, there you go. You have a feminine family archetype. The seeker is a wisdom family archetype. But you can have, absolutely, everybody has a feminine family archetype, a masculine family archetype, a divine family archetype, a wisdom, on and on. There are 9 total, right? So already set up there, a seeker and a damsel with a little bit of a masculine feminine switcheroo, but then we're dealing with the divine masculine who's really having to deal with his feminine energy. Intuitive, right? Well, we'll look at that. The damsel, see, already the damsel to me speaks of a romantic context. It is definitely a romantic power, soul power archetype. So that's when I say in the videos, when I say, well, there's nothing in this spread that necessarily, spells out sexual romantic or anything like that. Well, our second card down kind of does. Let's see what else hits the table. So please, my pantheon, one card in clarity for the overall Aquarian collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. This one. Oh, the Hermit. All right. So chances are you're in separation right now, right? You're on your own, doing your own thing. Which is fine and necessary for all relationships. But the Hermit, look, I'm going to read the descriptions, but just like I say, when the Hermit card pops up in the tarot, it is voluntary. It may not always feel so voluntary, but it's not being in exile. It is a choice, a decision, and also, by the way, part of the wisdom family. So there's already a great deal of wisdom here on the table. 2 wisdom family archetypes, 1 feminine family archetype. We're really looking at something here that has to be lived through, all right? So this isn't all just up in the head. This is about experience. So what is the divine masculine seeker, the divine feminine seeker about? The light attribute. Every archetype is light and shadow, lead and gold. The idea is to alchemize this stuff into this stuff. Light attribute. Thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they go. Now, being a wisdom archetype, that could be in a divine masculine, divine feminine, as any of the archetypes can, but that intuitive pull is what I'm getting this. It's just like that thirst. It is nearly an emotional thirst. It's so intuitive, always being called forward for wisdom and truth wherever you go. Well, wherever they go, the divine feminine, whichever side you're identifying with here. The shadow attribute, inability to commit to a path once found. Now, I know enough Aquarians in my life as friends that flitty and flighty they may be, but when they are committed to something, they are all in. Maybe that's just the experience of mine. Maybe you've got some other fixed signs, because it is fixed air. So if not saying that that's, you might be over here, my Aquarian sun, moon, rising, Venus sign. But that feels very, very strong. There's an intuitive pull there, almost like a magnet pulling the divine feminine forward. Let's look at the divine masculine, and I kind of just am loving that it's the damsel. So the light attribute, understanding the nature of healthy romance. See what I mean? It's like it's a romantic archetype, right? Understanding, like feeling it, even if it's not so up here. Understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself, right? So self-esteem. So the divine masculine here, this is feeling romantic. This one feels like, oh, that was nice. What else we got? What else is going on in the world, which I get. But that thing, the ability to rely upon oneself. And now here comes the shadow attribute, waiting for a knight, K-N-I-G-H-T, to provide for you. Seduction by romantic illusion, right? So breaking chains of romantic illusion is a huge thing done when a twin flame contract is in the romantic sexual paradigm category, whatever you want to call it, form. Now, my job as a reader, and I ain't speaking for any other reader but myself, is to not focus so much on the form, but to really get the story of the energetic, vibrational, soul contract content. There's a big difference between content and form. We all essentially have the same content, but our forms are highly unique and individual. That's why every relationship is highly unique and individual. The best you can do is go for themes, and that which tends to remain content, which is constant, which is the content. And by the way, I have constant contact. If you want to sign up, it's on my website, DrawingTheCircle.com. Fucking tongue twister. The relationship itself, Hermit. Now, I love the Hermit archetype. I have it in what's called my Chronos ring, my Kairos ring, second ring. It's not the dominant archetypes in my life, but I love Hermit time. Doom, doom, doom. Light attribute. Seek solitude to focus intently on inner life. Serves personal creativity. There's a lot of creativity doing these videos, taking clients, being a professional witch, running a company, and having 3 feline black cat boys to take care of, and a social life. It's a lot. So yeah, I get that, right? To hermit, to serve your own personal creativity, to get in touch with your own voice. But the shadow attribute withdraws from society out of fear or negative judgments of others, refusing to help those in need. Now, I have to tell you, I don't know many Aquarians that refuse to help people in need, although I'm sure they're in there. I just haven't met any. But that thing of withdrawing to the stratosphere, because Aquarians just don't seem to pull back. They pull up, right? If there's any sort of spiritual practice or immersion into some kind of expansive type of thinking, right, and get lost in their own thought processes, fixed air. So you know, in this relationship itself, it really does feel like there's a push and pull going on here. The push, both of you feeling pulled, but the seeker being pulled for the wisdom, the damsel being pulled by the romance, but then there is this kind of pushing away from each other, taking some time here in the overall relationship. So it might be a question of, you know, voluntarily stepping back, looking at things a little differently, or, and I've experienced this enough in my life, the universe is designed in a way to say, no, that would be a distraction for you right now, look within. It's happened to me. That's why I'm doing this video tonight. I was supposed to hang out with a friend. We're going to talk computer stuff for the readings, and ways that I can be uploading a little bit faster with the tech that I have. And Aquarian, interestingly enough, oh wow, yeah, my Aquarian techie guy couldn't hang out tonight, so I'm doing the Aquarian read. I didn't even realize that. So that thing of, it's like, okay, you know, and you don't have to like it, but if you can see it from that higher place of, well, the relationship is on pause so that the seeker can seek and the damsel can get clear of some romantic illusions and rely upon, well, I'm going to say himself, because we're talking about the divine masculine, and believe me, I have the damsel archetype. I'm familiar with it. So now we are going to clarify this divine feminine seeker with 5 cards from the Daughters of the Moon Tarot in a very special spread I call the element spread: fire, earth, air, water, spirit. I actually learned it from the Elemental Tarot. It was a deck and book set. I think I got it like Barnes and Noble 10,000 years ago, or B. Dalton, really, the Cenozoic age of bookstores, no longer around. So let me tune in here, and we're going to get these. So please, my gods, top 5 cards: fire, earth, air, water, spirit, for this divine feminine seeker in this twin flame relationship. Aquarian, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, October 2019 and beyond. Please, top 10 cards. Fire, what does she want? Earth, what does she have to get her what she wants? Air, what does she think? Water, what does she feel? Spirit, what is her overview? Here we go. Maiden, Mother, Crone. Maiden, Mother, Crone. It's only the top 5 cards, right? So we got a nice clean cut on that. Let's have a look. All right, divine feminine seeker archetype. What does the divine feminine seeker want? Well, in the fire position, we have the card of Pisces. So, you know, the divine masculine could be a Pisces. It's a little on the nose for me, you know. If you don't know how I read court cards, I have a video clarifying how I read court cards. But this is that 12th house energy, wanting something emotional, right? And it was that thing, like I felt that being intuitively pulled, you know, all the water signs are intuitive. But Pisces in particular, I'm a Pisces moon, really can tap into the collective unconscious in a way where we can know things that we have no idea why the hell we know it, right? Not so much up here, but down here. So that can absolutely, like a magnet, draw anyone forward with that feeling of there's wisdom here, there's something I need to experience, an emotional truth, not just what's true. True can change from day to day. We're talking about truth, spiritual truth, bedrock, unchangeable truth, mystical truth, particularly with Pisces, mystical truth. So perhaps the divine feminine in this one is a bit on their path that way, but really taking the intuitive route, or at least wanting to, right? Element of fire. Now the element of earth is like the wick in the candle that feeds the flame, right? It's the fuel. What you got? What you got, divine feminine? Oh, not that far away, because what you got is the 10 of cups, right? Is the ecstasy. So in terms of this relationship, cups are overflowing. It's real happiness. I have to wonder, is that happiness purely from within? Is this something that's new? Although at a 10, this could just be about the divine feminine's pursuit anyway, right? What they're seeking and what they have is this emotional wisdom and experience to be able to handle the voltage of ecstasy, of bliss. And it definitely feels like an emotional high, right? And yet being pulled ever forward more. Very interesting. Now, what's she thinking? What she's thinking is the Empress. What she's thinking is that this is fertile, this is abundant, this is something that is giving her life, giving her birth, really satisfying, anchored Venus energy, goddess energy, mother goddess energy. There is something very divine feminine, and you know, we could talk about different cards in the major arcana. This is a feminist deck, Daughters of the Moon Tarot, Fiona Morgan. But really getting there, that if we're going to have a divine feminine card, that's the one, particularly in the mother aspect. So perhaps even thinking about, you know, maybe having children, but children are symbolic, like Drawing the Circle Productions, my 21-year-old child, right? My son, my company. And I did not give birth to my cats because, number one, I'm in a male body this time, and number two, how? Impossible, at least for now. Let's keep it that way. For anybody to give birth to your own pets, not fun, although they're not my pets, they're my sons. But you see that? It's like that's my own maternal stuff there. That this is on the divine feminine's mind here, and do understand that there is a very strong magnetic divine feminine pull, if you like. Thank you very much. The divine feminine is the magnetic, the divine masculine is the electric. So you have electromagnetic, that pulling together, that attraction in a twin flame context, romantic sexual, with the 10 of cups and the damsel here. That's a lot of high voltage. That's a hot furnace being set up, being drawn into this contract of personal transformation individually. I get it. I would find that very hard to turn my eyes and attention away from. But with that Hermit being directed within, we'll get there, right? So what's she feeling with all this water and the Empress going on? What is she feeling? Oh, girl, you're feeling earthquake. The 5 of Pentacles, perhaps feeling a little left out in the cold, right? That classic Rider way, you know, like limping outside the church window, although it's got pentacles in the window. Kind of a cool witchy church. Really feeling that change, that emotionally, that your world, you're a little bit shook in all of this, and that would make sense with that 10 of Pentacles, particularly that sense of the earth moved under my feet. I feel the sky tumbling down, right? It's a little shaky there emotionally. You know, study Tantra, just off the top of my head, channel some of that stuff. But that can also speak of, and I'm getting that as well, that taking the time to process the unfinished business and the emotional baggage of old heartaches and heartbreaks, because this is being then boiled to the surface. And how long does an earthquake last? Seconds, right? Not minutes, certainly not hours. Aftershocks come later. But how much change happens in such a short amount of time. So this does feel a bit overwhelming in this, but you know, now I'm just going to go there because this is some of you in the collective for sure. Keep praying to the Mother Goddess, right? If that's your work, if that's your devotional, if that's what you're doing, whether it's, you know, Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, Demeter, I mean, we could go on and on and on. If I name this, all the ones that I know, we will be here forever. Hera, goddess of marriage. You know, Aphrodite, she's my mama too. You know, go there. I work the Hellenic Greeks, obviously. What's the overview then here for the divine, the Lover's card, for the divine feminine? A big decision being made. Yes, we always want to say that, oh, it means love and sex and union and marriage. It's about a life-changing decision. So with really the Empress, the Lovers, the Ecstasy card, Earthquake, and the Pisces card, this is a little bit of an emotional overload. So I think the seeker has found, but are you wanting to move on now once you've found? Now again, I have said this in other videos, let me say this again. Just because it's a twin flame relationship doesn't mean people don't stay married in twin flame relationships. The wise ones, wisdom archetype here, kind of suss it out. It's like, oh, you're not supposed to give me that. So I can either look for that for somewhere else or learn how to give it to myself. In that way, then new boundaries can be set. New clarity can happen. In other words, just because you discover you're married to a twin flame, because when, and they're telling me this, it's like when people watch twin flame vids, what they're really wanting is a soulmate relationship. It's just words. It says words are but symbols of symbols, right? It gets a little jumbled, like this game of metaphysical, spiritual, verbal telephone, right? And oh, and how the spiritual ego runs with all of that stuff. So even in the context of twin flame, as I'm reading it here, turbulent, tricky, transformative contracts, teaching you how to love yourself, heal yourself, be with yourself. This is a life-changing decision here, and doesn't mean that this can't be the experience that is for the well-being of all concerned, right? Which even, of course, then affects the quantum web of the divine plan. As one of us heals, all of us heals. As one of us suffers, all of us suffer. It's just how it is in fifth dimensional unity consciousness. So speaking of this relationship, let's look at this divine masculine Damsel. I know the lighting is a little bright there, but otherwise I'm sitting in the shadows here. I'm doing this at night, not getting that beautiful natural light coming in my windows. And what are we going to do? We are going to clarify this with the Mythic Tarot. Such a lovely deck. So please, my gods, top 5 cards, element spread, please clarify this divine masculine Damsel in this Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. Element of fire, what does he want? Element of earth, what does he have to give him what he wants? Power of air, what is he thinking? Power of water, what is he feeling? Power of spirit, the overview for this divine masculine Damsel, Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame relationship, October 2019 and beyond. Maiden, mother, crone, maiden. What did you say? Leave it at that. Maiden, mother, crone. Let's do this. Oh, put it down on the table, otherwise I tend to keep shuffling. What does he want? The Ace of Wands. He wants this. He wants it. he wants it. That's Zeus, right? Ready to give the quest. Ready to state what the quest is. Go and retrieve the golden fleece for me, right? Jason, get to work, right? That thing of let's initiate this initiatory energy. That not just a spark. This feels like a torch. And there's something obviously phallocentric about the card, again, regardless of bodily gender here, Y chromosome or no, that we are talking about, particularly with that damsel, a very strong attraction, most likely that divine masculine creative sexual impulse. We'll just leave it there. I'm a total potty mouth, but this, I'm not going there right now. So for the divine masculines, what do they got? What is the wick that feeds their flame? Interesting, the Hierophant. Now what they have then, if I tune to this, really they have their structures in place. They have their regimens, they have their rituals, they have their commitments. That this damsel is commitment oriented, as damsels often are. It's just, it's like that movie Ever After with Drew Barrymore. Cinderella is a damsel archetype, right? She's not a princess, but she becomes a princess. But low birth, meaning just not royalty. Depends on which version. But in that movie, Ever After, I don't think this is a spoiler. You know, if you haven't seen it yet, pause the video, put it in your watch later, and go watch it. It's a question of, do I wait to be rescued or do I rescue myself? Right? And it's funny, the damsel here is waiting for a knight, K-N-I-G-H-T, but ends up with a prince in Ever After. So it's totally about rescuing the self here. So very, very strong sense of commitment, union, marriage, formalization, right? Has that, you know, might say might be married, might say these two people are married, totally possible. Let's say newlyweds with what's going on over here. And with that Ace of Wands, this is very, very, very strong energy here in the divine masculine. But with that damsel, to really, particularly with that Hermit, it does lean in to say that is really kind of taking care of himself in this context, but that there might very well be some romantic illusions involved. So what's he thinking? Well, the Knight of Swords, Gemini, let's do it. Let's talk. Let's rush in, not Russian, though that might be two. Let's go in there. The Dioscuri, right? The twins just galloping forth. One, that's backwards. Just running ahead, running in the fastest knight, K-N-I-G-H-T, that goes at a gallop, right? The four speeds: gallop, canter, trot, walk. That's Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces, Virgo. Air, you know what I mean. So there's this mutable air, Gemini. So this is on their minds. This is something that they're thinking about and probably doing the back and forth in their mind. You know, it's a thing about Gemini energy. It's the twins. So it's like Romulus says yes, Remus says no, right? So there may be some back and forth mentally here, but it's on their mind. The divine feminine, this relationship in general, is on their mind about whether this is something they want to commit to. But the passion is there, and the structural needing, wanting that structure there, that formalization, and to be acknowledged by the tribe, right? To be acknowledged by friends and family as what it is. So how are they feeling? How's the divine feminine feeling here? Well, 8 of Cups. 8 of Cups. All right, going into the underworld. Like, I need to walk away from this right now because I'm thinking about it too much. And yeah, this is Psyche, bride of Eros. Aphrodite sends her into the underworld for a task to see if she can retrieve something, which is actually beauty cream from Persephone, and really she should bottle that stuff. It's amazing. I'm 51. Can you believe it? I have instant access teleport to the underworld and back again. It's good to be a mystical witch. So, you know, that thing of walking away, not out of disinterest. Certainly with what the divine masculine wants, this is not out of disinterest. This is about really wanting to go inside and do the Hermit deal. So please, one card, an overview. What's going on here? If that's what's going on emotionally, what's the overview? 5 of Pentacles. So it feels like you're both leaving each other out in the cold, that there's probably no communication about what y'all really are feeling here. Perhaps you've both been burnt before. Well, a seeker and a damsel, why wouldn't you be? To really put that in context, though, that you both kind of do want the same thing, but right now, and possibly in the relationship in general, you can't give each other what you want right now. Except for this divine feminine is just so overflowing right now, such a strong dominant goddess energy. Here we've got this, we've got the king, we've got the hierophant, we've got a lot of masculine energy in this card, but with that damsel, that it's like, I get it with that Five of Pentacles thing, that this is shaking both of you, both people in this twin flame. The alchemy has begun. And, you know, you do need to be clear about whether you both want to move forward in this, because that seeker, divine feminine, even with all that goddess energy and intuition and all of that, there's something in you that wants to cut and run too. It's just part of the seeker archetype. It's like, okay, I found it. What else you got? What else would you be? Ooh, what does that button do? Right? So very, very intense, very, very intense, and in a very clear way mirroring each other as twins do, twin flames. So let's clarify this Hermit in our center lane, and we're not going to do that all with tarot. We're going to pull one card each from the two tarot decks, but we're going to start with Healing with the Angels Oracle, because particularly with that Hermit, right, if you're going inside, if you're doing the spiritual work, resting, kind of getting clear on yourself, then a clarifying overview from the angels are always helpful. So please, my angels, one card in clarity for this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. The collective pantheons have given us the Hermit. What say you? A piece of your angelic guidance and grace. Soulmate. All right, so maybe this is one of those rare twin flame soulmate hybrids, or there is a possibility, because you know people want to make these rules up like we understand the rules behind the rules. No, the gods, the angels, the masters have their own rules with this stuff. Although I will say there is no twin flame card in this oracle. But if we take it on face value alone, there is definitely a pre-incarnational contract here. Every twin flame, every soulmate contract is, but that there is love here. So the thing that you can give each other is love. The connection is strong. So really mate with your own soul while you are in this time of hermitage, right? That learn how to give yourself what they cannot get you. In other words, what you feel unfulfilled about, go to your higher self, and then love what rises within you, just like a 5-year-old child, masculine or feminine. Love yourself, become the mate of your own soul, become the soulmate, because that might be what this contract is about overall, that you're both being prepared how to be the soulmate, maybe not to each other. Maybe that's why it's the damsel and the seeker for this phase, this leg of the journey, but you're only going to know that by kind of taking this time apart in hermit mode. Now, of course, there is, of course, that 5 to 10% of the collective that are going to hermit together, which is a wise move too, if it's the wise move. If it feels like, yeah, let's get away somewhere, let's go away for a weekend and just like talk, let's like actually get to know each other. Because even if you've known each other and are married and have been together, if you've both been transforming individually, that can create distance. So to honestly, lovingly talk, speak, listen, hear with open heart and peaceful, open mind. Soulmatey stuff. Aye, soulmatey. Let's then get a Daughter of the Moon tarot. Please, my gods, one card in clarity for this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. We've got the Hermit on the table with soulmate. What you got? Nine of Cups, compassion. Sorry, not Nine of Cups, Six of Cups, compassion. That just looks like the 9 in another deck that I don't use. This is not just about the laying on of hands. This is about really the self-compassion that cup fills and you give of the overflow. Compassion at its core being, look, everybody has got their own personal contracts to fulfill in this life. Everybody is doing the best that they can. Nobody knows the whole plan. We barely know what's going to happen to us in one day, regardless of what's on your to-do list or not, right? So to give that compassion, that there's a huge opportunity to heal yourselves here and at least be compassionate with the other, because I have to tell you, when you're compassionate with the twin flame, the compassion goes through you, it heals you too. So in that way, it may not even be what they want. They might not want your compassion. It feels like it would go over well, however, in this situation, but that compassion heals you as well, because what you give to another, you give to yourself. It's just dimensional unity consciousness. It's just the quantum, right? We're not just all connected. We're all one thing, right? We're all one energy field, whatever. The Aquarians like that kind of language, though. Let's get technical Borg stuff without wires, like wireless. You can't even, that doesn't even mean what it used to anymore. So please, my gods, one card in clarity for this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond, because we got the Hermit with the soulmate and the Six of Cups, compassion. What say you about that? Well, King of Swords, interestingly enough, the Libra card, right? King of Swords, pulling back. Oh, pulling back, but the Libra being the third point, right? That this relationship is about balance. And yes, certainly there is that mental counterpart. Oh, because they're both about balance, Six of Cups and the Libra card, the King of Swords, getting that mental, emotional balance, both, well, individually and then together. So whether this hermitage is a solo or duo act, it is the same, about getting into the mental emotional balance. And that's really pretty clear, just like that. But you have to align the mind, the divine masculine, with the heart, the divine feminine, through the throat chakra. So there's still communication, even if it's talking to a counselor, a friend, a therapist, or open, honest communication with each other to bring that together. Love what rises, right? I am going to choose to focus my mind on loving what rises within my heart, giving love, choosing to love what pops up in my mind, particularly as an air sun, as Aquarians are. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with my readings. Here we go. The Chuck Spezzano Love Pack. Let's see. We got them problem cards in here. It's literally the name of the suit. There's the healing, the grace, the luck, and the luck suit. So 4 suits here. So please, the masters, the ascended masters, one card, please, in clarity for this Aquarius collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. It's right in my hand. What say you? Push me, pull me. Push me, pull me. Told you I felt a push me, pull me. Yeah. So, but that's within each of you individually as well. So that's totally the mirror here. Both wanting to stomp on the gas, totally there. Totally, totally, totally there. But also wanting to stop on the brake at the same time. So at least you're both doing the same thing. So the turbulence, of course, is within yourself as well. It is affecting the relationship, but the relationship contract is perhaps to bring that stuff up, the conflicts within yourself. You know, because even if you want to look at just 5 of Pentacles, and I hear it all the time on YouTube, being left out in the cold, right? Being abandoned, being shut out. Well, with Hermitage, that might how it appears, but you're both doing it to each other. So use this time, because the push me, pull me that's going on right now, it's a lot. I can feel that. But it is within yourself as well. It's the I want to, but it's love, fear, gas brake, really. Well, what happens when the heart says yes and the head says no? The throat chakra has to choose. Well, I don't know. How about an addiction? Because I know what that, I know the consequences of that. That's always there for me. So tricky shit. So hermit time, if you're going to do this, get into your contemplative practice, your wisdom practice, your spiritual practice, your mystical practice, and particularly reach out and ask for help as needed, right? Maybe not to each other, though. Well, 3 more cards left. The whispers of love from the higher selves of all involved, one for the masculine, one for the feminine, one for the twin flame relationship. Let's do this, and then we'll do an overview. I love these cards. The higher selves of all involved, please. One whisper of love for this Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, divine feminine in this twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. Please, a whisper of love. Like attracts like. If you are longing for more love in your life, and you need to be more loving. You're feeling it. It's in you. It is the truth of who you are as a divine feminine. The decision to love, to bring it into congruence within your own being is there. To love anyway, regardless of what happens. But my God, it's earthquaking you like crazy. It's actually having physiological changes on your body in some way. Well, because every emotion creates a biochemical response within the body. So like attracts like. Like attracts like. Higher selves of all involved, please, for the divine masculine in this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. One card of clarity, a whisper of love for this Damsel divine masculine. Be supportive. Make a genuine effort to show you care. Right? Now, isn't that just a Hierophant thing, right? Is that like a rule? That's a thing. It's like, well, that I can do. I can be supportive. I don't have to be, pardon my French, an asshole about this, though I'm not sure the word asshole is from French origin. That word asshole might be, though. Wouldn't shock me. That like attracts like here, and be supportive. So even it's like, I'm going to be supportive of myself. I'm going to go into this hermitage. I'm going to use this time wisely, but am supportive of the divine feminine in this too, because then this really is about the damsel rescuing herself, right? Making sure that she is solid and supported with this ace, with this Eight of Cups, really wanting to walk away. But if it's not away but into the self, overall Five of Pentacles, though, a lot of change going on, feeling left out. To be supportive of self and to be supportive of the divine feminine here as well. Make a genuine effort to show you care. Don't overdo it. Damsel, don't overdo it. Don't over romanticize it. Even if it is a text message saying, look, just thinking of you, doing my own healing, taking care of me, hope you are well, right? Keep it short, keep it simple, without, in other words, be supportive without a hook in it. If there's a hook in it, it's not support, it's bait. I've done it. I've had it done to me. After a while, you catch on quick, and I'm telling you, this divine feminine, we catch on quick. So if you're going to come clean, right? If you're going to come without an agenda other than to, and really take your time to get there. You need to be in support of yourself as well. So last card down for the twin flame relationship itself, please, for the higher, from the higher selves of all involved. One card in clarity for this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. What say you? This one. Practice compassion. Compassion. Practice compassion. Now, the Hierophant's going to have an easier time doing that, divine masculine. Divine feminine's kind of already there, or at least thinking about it. See things from a different perspective. So, and what is the best way to, right? It's like why I'm going to Saratoga for a couple of days, to see things from a different perspective, to pull not just back, well, I'm going upstate, so I am literally pulling back and up, to see this in a larger framework, which is a Aquarian energy, if anything, fixed air. Fixed air is the stratosphere. So to get the higher vision, to trade in your perception, because I can feel it, you two really do care about and love each other, and this definitely feels romantic, particularly with that fantasy of the Pisces moon and the Lover's card and the literally the divine feminine card of the Empress in the divine feminine's spread here. So let me do this. Here's your quickie overview. That we've got a divine feminine seeker here who very much wants that Maiden of Cups, Pisces energy, the dream come true, the emotional fulfillment, the flowing into and out of each other. And a seeker would seek that. And there's a strong magnetic pull towards that in general in the divine feminine's life. And what she's got is that Ten of Cups. The emotions are here for this. And in her mind is sensing this fertility, right? Sensing the possibility for something truly divine going on here, that something is being born here, whether it's a literal child or not. And then, of course, that can be about wanting to get pregnant or being pregnant, wanting to be pregnant symbolically, right? Particularly because it's in the mental field, seeing it as a whole new birth in your life. But emotionally, with that Five of Pentacles, that can really be something coming up from the past about being left out in the cold, but it is rapid and change is happening fast in the emotional field. And with the Lovers card as the overview here, with like attracts like, the inner and outer are mirroring themselves in that sense of having to get that into alignment, the divine masculine and divine feminine within the self, to move this twin flame relationship forward on her side with like attracts like, because chances are this damsel is also seeking, right? So the seeker has attracted a damsel who is seeking. So what is the divine masculine damsel seeking? Well, the Ace of Wands, a new beginning, a birth, a creative spark, a new torch, a new mission, a new thing to desire. Very phallic energy going on there with Zeus holding the globe and that big old wand. That's a big ass wand. That's a staff, right? And what's he got to make that happen? The Hierophant, like, has done this before in terms of the commitment. This could be someone who's very commitment oriented and wanting to make it, you can't see the air quotes because the picture is up, legitimate, right? Wanting this to go through, I don't want to say preconceived channels, perhaps that's true in terms of tradition, but wanting it to be in some ways above board, right? Wanting this to be by the book, and certainly commitment, like in whatever form that takes. What are they thinking? They got the Gemini card in the mental field. That's a lot of mutable air here in that position. So really thinking both ways about it, having a lot of different thoughts, but wanting to communicate, wanting to communicate. That's third house self-expression, wanting to communicate, wanting to communicate. But what are they feeling? Eight of Cups. That they got to walk away, that this is something they have to break away from because they're not sure, because they've been thinking it every possible way with that Gemini in the position of air there, that they need to go within. They need to walk away towards themselves more than away from. But with that Hermit in the overlighting for the relationship itself, that would make sense, because with the Five of Pentacles, the overview is definitely about someone missing the bus here, or feeling like they have missed out, or feeling like they are being left out in the cold, that there's some sense of physical impoverishment, right? That damsel feeling that. But then the overall relationship itself, this Hermit really in the light, pulling in to regenerate, right? The wisdom of going within, of rebuilding yourself, in the sense recharging, for creativity certainly, sexuality certainly, like recharging your batteries, whether you do this together or as a solo act, but focusing on that internal life, or just being afraid. And that is probably a good part of all of this going on in the collective, that there is a fear, particularly now that you're getting that it is a twin flame relationship. You can't give each other what you want, but with that soulmate card here with compassion and King of Swords, there's a lot of union of divine masculine and divine feminine in this relationship. A huge spiritual thing, but it needs to be done within each of you individually to bring yourself into a compassionate balance within yourself, so that you can bring a compassionate balance to this relationship. And they are showing me with that that Libra scales there that this can be negotiated. You could say, look, I accept that I can't give you everything that you want. You can't give me everything I want. Like, by the way, no one can make you happy. Only you can make you happy. Happiness is a decision I must make. Course in Miracles quote, right? So that push me, pull me of that really does make sense. That this has been really hard on both of you, even if it's something relatively new. Being attracted, then repulsed, right? Taking turns on that. It feels like you've been passing those batons back and forth. So to really bring this into mental balance, honor, clarity, justice, with the balance, the Six of Cups, compassion there. And to, again, the bottom card here, the whisper of love from the higher selves of all involved. Practice compassion, see things from a different perspective. Well, what can I tell you, my Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign? This is a twin flame relationship where the two people involved really actually love each other, but are so afraid of change, right? Well, fixed air. So afraid of getting hurt, so afraid of being abandoned, but that the instinct to not, if you can just not just pull away from each other, not break up necessarily, but go within, do the healing, get clear on what are your romantic illusions. And how do you know what your romantic illusions are? By thinking of them and whatever rises, loving it, right? Doesn't mean it's going to happen, doesn't mean it's not going to happen, but doesn't mean you act on it in the moment, that you love that. You love, it's like, I love the one who has romantic, I love the one inside me, I love the emotions inside me that have romantic illusions, because everybody must have them on some level. If I'm feeling it, it must be in the collective some way, somehow. So a huge service here to all of humanity as well here. Very, very intense spread. So two things I'm going to say. Number one, if you need help, this is the work that I do with clients all the time. Not a day goes by where I'm not fielding a question, doing a phone call, doing a reading, doing a spiritual counseling. For all that info is in my description box below. If you've got Skype or Facebook Messenger, it's very doable, or we can just talk on the phone. The other thing is, I want to really do this from my soul to yours. May the Aquarian collective be blessed with all that they need in their twin flame relationships, this one in particular, for the month of October 2019 and beyond. May you be blessed with all that you need to grow, to heal, to learn, to be the best that you can be, to love yourself, to heal yourself, and to play your role in the divine plan, which these contracts are totally woven in for the well-being of all that I am now. May you be blessed for the well-being of all. May you be blessed. May you be blessed, my Aquarian collectives. And so it is. So mote it be. Amen. Thank you for watching. This is a lot to take in. You might want to save this one in your watch later because there are some stages and phases going on here. And if this clicked for you, please like and subscribe. And if you enjoyed yourself, if you got something handy out of it, please like and subscribe and share as needed. But for now, because I have to start packing to go away, yay, and the Pisces will be coming. It'll just be coming from Saratoga. But for now, my darlings, heartfelt, hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed, blessed be.